All right, everybody, welcome back to Merch Slam. We have a packed video, a lot of good releases coming out heading into Saturday night's main event, which would be a fun match already. I think this show last night really kind of helped set things up for like looking forward to watching some of these matches play out. And we have a lot. So as always, thank you. Welcome back to the channel. My whole intention with this is just to go over things that I like. I get nothing out of this. There's no links. There's nothing to take you to stuff. But I definitely would love any love, comments, like, subscribe, dislikes. That works too. But I always like to start out with just some quick recaps from what happened with the night show. Previous night show, maybe it was over the weekend. But I think this kind of ties into more of the merch stuff. So I think it's good to just kind of understand where some of these stories are. So anyways, let's jump right into it. So I think the way that Raw kicked out last night was very interesting. We finally got to hear Bron Breakker back on the mic, which is cool because it's just been a while. And I think he's really good on the mic. But then we also had Bronson Reed get on as well. And as they were trying to set up some of their feuds between Sammy and Penta and Jay, and I think we'll see some resolution to this, if not an update past this weekend, and see how this will continue to evolve as we head into Survivor Series. And I think even Paul Heyman called out Roman Reigns, so there's going to be a lot there, and I'm curious to see how this will all stack up. But so that's how I kind of kicked off. We then had Kairi Sane actually fight and wrestle Roxanne, which is a really good match. Honestly, I think it was just really good to see them both go at it. We did have a little bit of a surprise. We had Asuka come out towards the end and kind of help Kairi Sane. So, we could see the reunited tag team of the Kabuki Warriors, which would be really cool to see. And I think heading into that, Battle Royal tag team women's thing that we're going to see and find out more about will be cool. And it's just nice seeing them back together wrestling again. And I think it kind of adds another dynamic to the Judgment Day. So I'm sure we'll have some kind of follow-up leading into this. But, a great match. And then we also had, which as much as I wanted to see this, I think having Sammy out there, either if he is her or not her or however that looked, Bron just completely took over that entire match. So curious where Sami Zayn kind of plays into this. And obviously we had Karrion Kross kind of jump him at the beginning of the match, which, kind of set into this domino effect. However, I am kind of curious how this ties, and if it doesn't, it's nothing, but do we have something there with Karrion Kross and potentially Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker kind of tag team? Maybe not, but we definitely can see, Sami Zayn's stories kind of leaking into two different feuds right now, and I'm curious how this will all play out as well. And then we have, Becky out there and Bayley, as we're getting ready to head towards a triple threat match at Evolution. And I do like the way the story has now ramped up, and I do think that it'll be interesting to see how these all play out, and who will get the belt and who will continue. I actually don't really know outside of maybe saying Becky Lynch is going to keep it, but it's anybody's guess. Curious your thoughts on that one. We got Jay, who won the match by disqualification. And so now, we see Bronson Reed just kind of take out his frustration on Jey Uso with back-to-back tsunamis, as we kind of have that back. And then somebody pointed out that, Jey rocking shorts back, maybe again, it's nothing. But do we see the Usos potentially coming back in the future as a tag team? But I feel like Jimmy's been pretty involved now with Jacob Fatu. So it might be a bit of a stretch, but hey, you never know. Again, it's going to be a jam-packed Survivor Series. It's 2 nights, so I'm curious how this all plays out with everybody. Grande Americano came back in his fight, so I think for everybody who thinks it's Chad Cable, he kind of shut you guys up kind of thing. He's a great wrestler, so we'll see. But yeah, he got a win over Dragon Lee, so that was pretty good fight overall. I think it was fun, and I think that's what we kind of need sometimes to break up, and we need that good humor placed into some of these matches. Then we also had Goldberg come back out, like, just a quick few minutes, wasn't on the mic. In fact, he didn't use the mic at all. Then he kind of slapped the mic out of Gunther's hand, and then Gunther kind of fell back. So, will this be the last time we kind of just see this on Raw? And, we come Saturday, Goldberg loses. He got his match. He's retiring. Guess we'll stay tuned. And then lastly, we see, towards the end, LA just came out and gave him BFT, which was great. And then we also had, Bronson and Raid and Braun Breaker come out trying to help. But anyways, got a lot heading into this week. But, with all these feuds comes great merch. So this is actually just a quick preview of, as I was kind of walking, going through their website, I wanted to pick a few things to me that stood out, which I thought were pretty cool. The first one of which was actually this Seth Rollins shirt. I don't know if it's so much the world or the burn it down part, but I think they actually did a really good job with this shirt. I really love the graphics and attention to detail on this, along with the back, and just goes along with this theme song. So I actually think if you're looking for some good merch heading into this weekend to pick something up and show out, I think the Seth Rollins shirt is one way to go. If you're like, hey, I actually just want something a little retro to kind of highlight the main event heading into ATL, I think this is actually a really cool shirt as well. I love the black and yellow, just the overall font. It's got the date. It's really neat. I think we even got some more information here, which is just kind of talking about like its original broadcast from 85 to 92. The programming returns to its 40th edition, but that's kind of a recap from what we already knew. But we actually see this neon event logo printed across, seeing a lot of good matchups heading into primetime TV with Saturday Night Main Event. So anyways, those two pickups I think are really interesting. And then as we head into the women's WWE Evolution match, there's, I think, just really, really cool merch. I think sometimes the women's actually has better merch than the men's, but there's actually a lot of really nice graphic tees, and we have, Tiffy Times varsity jacket style. We have a lot of Rhea Ripley. I actually really like this one from Jade. The storm's coming. I just think her graphics and just her overall aesthetic and character is always really neat to see that play out when she comes out. And yeah, a lot of neat stuff heading into this weekend. Then we also had this new Becky Lynch shirt, which I actually liked. I don't know if they call out any specific thing about this in detail, but the aesthetic to me is pretty neat. Held down by the man, and we also have the little angry person here. So if you're a Becky Lynch fan, I think this is actually a really cool shirt. Just aesthetically, it's pretty clean. And then we also have like this new ProSphere type merch, and in a weird way, it kind of reminds me of the Olympics, just in a lot of blue, white, and red USA kind of style, or at least specifically like the men's basketball. I just kind of think a lot of these is like the warm-ups. It's really neat. They got a bunch of wrestlers that are covered with CM to Austin to Rhea, and just, whether you're looking for a tank top or just kind of like overall shirt or the shorts. Again, I think for lounging around, these are pretty neat, and then just some of the logos on the shorts are pretty sick. So definitely another pickup if you're interested in something like this for the summer. I think these will be a nice little touch, keeping yourself cool. And then lastly, these were actually probably one of my favorite things to cover today, and it was actually these pillows, which are really neat, and again, kind of tie into some old throwback wrestling stuff. And you have a lot of characters out there. You have Penta now, which is cool to see. We have the Dominic Mysterio, so I can only imagine we'll start seeing them with the fans soon. You got John Cena, Roman Reigns, Kane. So a lot of like retro. Eddie Guerrero one was pretty cool. Liv Morgan. And then they also have like these smaller ones too, which are only 7 inches on the keychain. But man, there's so many characters to choose from. You got Randy Orton, Austin. I mean, the list goes on and on. We got Bianca. the Bayley LA Knight. They did a good job with these. I think these are very fun to have if you're a fan. And I actually saw this too, and I was trying to go back, and yeah, a lot of these are almost gone. We have Hulk and Bianca. They don't all have this, but some of them definitely have this, which almost gone label to it. And Razor Ramon is on that list as well with almost gone. And then, yeah, Kevin Nash. Just a lot of interesting characters to go from, but I thought these were so neat. I don't think they're badly priced either, but these would be fun. Curious if anybody is picking these up. Love to hear from you on that. And then you have the actual pillowcase as well with Money in the Bank. It's a nice little touch. And then you actually have the belt as well, which is pretty neat. So, but yeah, that's actually all I have for you guys. I'm sure we'll find out more on SmackDown as we head more into this weekend. But this weekend, again, there's 2 events going on. We have Saturday night main event, and we also have Evolution. So see what other gear might drop, but looks like we got a lot of things to browse through the shop for this upcoming weekend. Again, like, dislike, comment. Love to hear your thoughts on some of these matches. Please subscribe. It would help the channel grow. Currently at 0 subscribers, but I know that would change. I know we're getting some views there. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your night, your weekend. See you guys on the next one.